we'll go to our first item on the agenda, which is discussing the farm activities related to Earth Day. Robin and I have been working on that. And Robin, do you maybe want to give the update?
Sure. Update is that we have 9 farms ready to participate, including folks who are on this call. And some people will be having a table. Some people will be offering feature items at a communal table. And hopefully other folks will be adding information to the info table. Hey, Chris, we can see you. Yay! To the info table. And Rachel, at some point, I'd love to check in with you to see if you would like to organize an activity, like a kids activity, because we had talked about that at one point in the past. But that doesn't have to, we don't have to talk about that today. If you want, we can check in about that another time. It's called the Farm Fair, which was the name given to it by the Earth Day folks, the Sustainability Committee folks. That you are working on on volume. You cannot hear us. Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. And you use with that. So yeah, it'll be called the Farm Fair. At the moment, we've got 9 folks participating. It's possible that we'll get a few more. I did some more outreach on Monday, and I think maybe Christina did also. And what else should I say? I think that's it. Oh, and we will be on they're going to close down Meeting House Lane for the event, and we will be on Meeting House Lane. And Christina made an awesome flyer that I don't know, did you share with everybody?
I just realized that I was sending it to all of the individual farms I was reaching out to, but I did not send that to everybody. I only made it yesterday. So
Christina designed it yesterday and it looks great. And if you give me a moment, I will share my screen and share it with y'all. This one. And there you go. That is our fantastic Farmer Fair flyer. Meet your farmers, family businesses, local products, and a list of the participating farms. If you have anybody else who is going to, who would be available to participate that we don't have on that list, if you could connect them. Rachel, I put a question for you in the chat.
Yeah, so maybe to continue on with the Earth Day update, we do have a bunch of farms who we've talked to and who are going to participate, but there are a few that we want to confirm with, and that's why Robin had asked about Rachel, if you've connected with Chris Farm or the honey person. Rachel,
but I just messaged Chris Farm, and I'll text Aaron at Bethany Hive and Honey to see if they have products or want to do something. So that was my fault, but I just reached out to them.
So we got a message from the Woodbridge Sustainability folks saying that they got a check for $25 from Chris Farm. They weren't sure if that was for sponsorship or if Chris Farm was doing that for their participation in the farmer fair. Do you have any idea on that?
I don't know, but I could ask.
Okay, yeah, maybe if you could ask and let me know, I'll send, and if you can give me whatever contact information, I can send them if they are wanting to participate as a farm, I'll send them the Quinnipiac Valley Health District, QVHD. I'll send them the health form if they're bringing things, and if they're just bringing information about their farm, I mean, that's great too. We really do want to encourage people to bring flyers or information about their farms, what they offer, that sort of thing. Even if, like, for example, they're not bringing pumpkins or ice cream or, horseshoes.
Yeah, I think that's the
Right, I don't
important
know
part
what they would be
because
bringing, so I'll
most
ask
folks
them
don't
to
have-
see. And I'll
Amazing.
get back to you as soon as I hear back.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to bring ice
Thanks.
cream, I don't think anyone's going to complain.
Oh yeah.
Um,
So I
and
guess
then,
that
yeah, Rachel, can I just put in a plug that you and I should chat about potential kids activities? I don't think it needs to be
Yeah, we
using
could
other
chat
people's
sometime this
time,
week,
but
that'd be
like if you
fine.
and I could just connect this week, I mean, perfect.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think that's the extent of my update.
All right. Yeah, I could do that whenever. I made a flyer for my farm with like an activity book kind of thing, but I could look at
Sweet.
some things, hands-on things that kids could do,
Yeah, I
Earth
think
Day related.
we can chat. I have a couple ideas too, and between us, I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, so I'll email you and sometime maybe this week we could
Sounds good.
discuss it.
okay.
Being recorded.
Can you
So
hear
the
me?
next. Oh yes.
All right. I'm on my phone, so I'm gonna close out this one. Hold on.
Um,
I see 2 Chris's in the attendees, and we've lost George. Maybe the
I
meeting
mean, I can
wasn't.
imagine George maybe decided this was not the meeting to sit on.
I wish we had more riveting things on our agenda.
You want to move
Should
on
we
to the
wait
next
for Chris
item?
to? Let's move on to the next item, and hopefully Chris can at least hear us now if he's on his phone. Chris, we just did a quick recap of Earth Day, and we have a flyer that we've emailed, and the Earth Day presenters have asked us to do from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if we need to do shifts during that time, that's fine. And I don't know, Robin, if you said this, but we're also hoping to get a couple of volunteers so that we have extra sets of hands.
I missed that. We were hoping to get a couple of volunteers, but we're thinking if each of us could do 1 hour. Christina won't be there, but one of her employees will be there. But if the rest of us can each do 1 hour, then we can get 4 hours in. And that seems, I think, not too onerous.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm talking on my phone.
That's fine.
I can see you guys, but I'm not on as a panelist, so whatever, I can hear you. Sorry.
No worries. It happens.
So
Yeah,
we
sorry
got,
about that, Chris. It's frustrating.
I'm not a computer guru, so believe me, I press every button. Maybe I push too many buttons.
No
I
worries.
have heard you for the last couple of minutes.
Oh, good.
So I'll let you keep going. I don't know where you're at or anything, so I'll just listen.
Okay, we just talked about Earth Day, and we will be moving to the Country Club of Woodbridge.
Yeah,
Did anybody have the opportunity to go to the open house on April 2nd, I think it was?
no.
Okay, I did not go to that, but I was at a meeting where they discussed, as part of the technical advisory committee, they had discussed things that they would then present to the open house. And basically it is what they've put together, I can't remember exactly what they call it. Let me see if it's in here. They've synthesized feedback, that we had talked about at our previous meeting. about what types of things the town has indicated it might want to see, not that it necessarily will have, but that a plan might incorporate. So things like ball fields, potentially housing, potentially farm or orchard or something like that. And then they've put things together in on the mapped site to kind of show where they might put these. How do I share my screen now? So,
It's at the
so now
bottom when you
what's
click it.
happening? Okay. Oh yeah, I can see that. Just a second. Now what's happening is they have put out a survey. So there's a second survey. There was a survey put out, I want to say maybe January, sometime around the beginning of the year, where they solicited a lot of feedback back from the community. And now they're soliciting more. And what I want to do is share the reference document, which is, oh dang. This is what I ran into last time, that my system preferences, for some reason, won't let me turn on can I send this to
Yeah, you could send
one
an
of you?
email.
Robin?
Go ahead,
Oh
send
yeah,
it to
maybe
me.
I'll send this to you all. Oh gosh, sorry. I will send this to you all by email, but also for the purposes of right now, I'll send it to Robin. And there we go. Robin, let me know if that doesn't work.
I haven't seen it yet, but it'll come in.
Oh. Okay. That's not working. All right, I'm gonna try to figure out how to do this. Basically, while I figure out how to share this file, um, should we move on to the next thing, which Chris, I
Okay.
think is maybe something that you have something to add about, and I'll be trying to send this. The next thing on our agenda is the lease extension update. I don't know if we have any progress on that, but
No progress. We do have a meeting for November. We are set for November. That'll be the closest thing, so they could look at it, and when they have questions and they can come back, they, we can come back with answers. It gives us a better, because they go in and, they give recommendations for leases, but we can also, doing it now is in April when they're doing budget and everything. It isn't going to be like a priority. They got too many other priorities, I believe, right now. So I don't think we'd have much success with it. So I think, I talked with Allison today, and she put us down for the November time. And so when we start for next year, she said we can get right on board and get in and talk with the selectmen on it. So that's where we're at there right now. That's all I have to do to update that. You can hear me, right?
okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay. I want to just go back for a minute. And when you talked about Earth Day and everything, maybe Robin, I can give you a call, because I made a donation there and I didn't sign on, and I didn't know if I needed to go on and like, because I don't know, it goes to a lot of different things. You got to have a 10 by 10 tent with a table and all this stuff. And then you put in $25, I guess. And so do I need to, I know they wanted it by April 1st. So, but my son said, well, maybe you guys were putting one on like we were all together. And I didn't quite get it. So, I didn't do anything of that part, but I just made a donation at the present time. Do I need to go online and do this, or do I need to call you, Robin, and do something? What would you recommend me to do? It's too late?
That's a great question. Christina, do you have an answer?
You know what, Chris? That is a great question. At the beginning of the discussions with the Earth Day Committee, they had thought that vendors, if you are setting up a market booth, could pay a $25 market booth fee.
Right.
I think my opinion is that you don't have to do that as someone who's participating in a like the information capacity. You're supporting the event as an Ag Commission member.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's too late to have that done. We've given them the information of the farms who've said that they're participating. I don't know if that's why maybe you would have been sent a link for that. But
Yeah.
we can
But we only gave them that list yesterday or today. This morning I sent it to them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't received anything about paying the vendor fee.
Okay. So
I think
I
we should quietly ignore the vendor fee and any online stuff, and we'll just say these are the vendors we're bringing.
yeah.
Just
That's,
because you're not vending.
yeah. Because there's nothing to vend really. I mean, you're showing up, you're being a participant, and I can't be
Yeah.
there all day. I mean, I can give a little time, but this time of year I'm busy with like the school buses and jammed, and we do a lot of Saturday events, and I'm running short on drivers, and then that throws me in the seat. So I'm willing to put some time into, but I was just a little confused. And is there someone, should we call? Is there anybody I could call?
I can check in on that. Why don't
All
I
right.
check in on that and get back to you? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Chris, I don't think I have your phone number though, and I know that's better
Yeah.
for you than email. Do you think you could just write your phone number in the chat and I can write it
No,
down?
I'll give it to you over the phone. I'll give it to you right
Okay.
now.
Go ahead.
203
Yep.
671
Mm-hmm.
3355.
3355. Is that a cell phone?
Yeah.
Okay, so I could call or text?
Call or text. Probably
Perfect.
texting might even be easier because
Okay,
I'll, if I'm driving, I can't answer. So,
of course.
but yeah. So, okay, we'll go back to we did the lease I'm sorry if anybody has any other questions on that, fire away, but we can move forward to that. After the lease extension, we had, what do we have? The move forward from there, I guess. Sorry, I'm all over the
No
place.
worries. I actually had a realization though that I should go back too, if you don't
Yeah.
mind, Christina,
Yeah.
to the Earth Day, since we were just talking about that before we move on.
Yeah.
Are there particular, like if we were to each take 1 hour to support, is there an hour, like does anyone have preferences? Should I send out like a sign up sheet? What's
Yeah.
the best way for us to choose?
I
Maybe a
think,
sign up sheet.
yeah.
I'll send out a sign up sheet. Okay,
Because I know if I'm gonna be selling stuff, I can't run an activity and sell at the same time because I don't think my husband will be able to go.
that's totally fine.
So
Yeah.
I'm willing to do both. I just obviously can't do it together at the same time.
Perfect.
All right.
No worries. Christina, whenever you're ready, I can share my screen.
Okay, great. I've just sent this to everyone's emails so that you can check it out at another time as well. But Robin will show the presentation of where the country club master plan sort of is right now, which is at a second survey stage. So the organization that's working on the master plan, Cooper Robertson, they've had a bunch of meetings. They have had a lot of feedback and discussions with different groups and individuals, and kind of it's culminating in what Robin's showing you now, which is this is the reference document for the new survey that they're doing. We had kind of talked about some of this at the last meeting. This was this some of the what you're looking at now is the map of the country club and shows some of the areas that have been previously developed that they're interested in doing development on, and some of the areas that are sensitive that they will not be doing much development on. And so that's kind of what this reading the site slide is. And if you want to go to the next one, Robin. So again, this is what they're thinking of as the potential development areas. One along Ansonia Road, partly for road access, but then also partly because that's where there was the maintenance building in that northwest corner. And then also the Woodfield Road site is where the country clubhouse was.
Yeah,
And then this eastern connection is, I think, up for debate, but they potentially would connect the two sites. And so the next map, if you keep scrolling down, talks about some of the existing conditions and what's there now. And then you can go to the next one. And then these alternatives are basically what I had said when we started talking about this was these alternatives are suggestions to show kind of what the site might look like if the town of Woodbridge decided to take or prioritize certain things. So alternative A has some housing. There's 30 units. They're all near where the former clubhouse was. It would include a town pool also near where the clubhouse was, tennis courts, basketball courts, pickleball courts, and an athletic field up in the northwest corner. Alternative B has more housing along Ansonia, and sorry, just to point this out, these show up in all of the alternative maps. They are proposing a pollinator meadow and 2 riparian restoration zones along what are kind of like creek waterways. That's in the kind of, it looks like teal blue on the map on the west and the eastern sides. So those kind of keep going throughout these potential site plans. And then the open space is either kept as open space or has certain enhancements which are possibly related to agriculture. So if you want to scroll down to B2, one of the things that they're suggesting is possibly developing some sort of a restaurant or brewery that could have an orchard or agriculture connected to that kind of space. And so that's up on like the top flat topographical plateau. You can keep going slowly through these. They basically add different combinations of housing, some with different density, including a couple of the maps have apartment buildings. And in the meeting that I went to, Mika had put into context, I think the Toll Brothers development is on, gosh, I want to say, I might be getting this, I'm sure I'm getting this wrong, but it's something like 16 acres and it has, oh gosh, I wish I had the numbers in front of me. 16 acres and let's say 50 units of housing or something like that. And so when we're looking at the Woodbridge Country Club, which is 100 and what is it, like 140, 150 acres ish, they are proposing to have lots of housing units. But basically what Miko was saying was that in context, looking at that versus this, it might seem like a lot of housing, but maybe it's not actually that much when you compare it to other developments that we kind of have seen gone up recently.
Well, it does
So
seem to include a large amount of what they call natural green space.
yes, I think the
Maybe a
goal was to preserve about 100 acres in every single plan, even the ones with this really dense housing. Like here we are on alternative C2, which has a lot of housing units. I think they're still accounting for all of this open space, and it still comes out to be almost 100 acres. I think if you put the orchard on it, or if there is agriculture in one of those spaces that takes up, 5 or 10 acres, to me, I see that as different than unmanaged habitat, because I do think that it probably needs to be somewhat protected so that the general public isn't having unrestrained access to farm equipment or, things that are produced there on the farm.
Yeah, I agree with you there. You can't just have people randomly walking in, doing stuff. You just can't.
Yeah, right.
Just can't.
Yeah.
I think
So
there's
I think,
also, I think there's also
ahead.
a need for senior housing. A lot of people, if they lose one of their spouses, they would like to live in town, but they can't manage a big house or do stuff like that. I saw where they had some senior housing in there. I think, most of the seniors that get to the point where they're just by themselves, they bail out of town. And I think a lot more would like to stay where they are, within the town. They got a lot of friends, they might have children, they might have grandchildren. And I think that's an important key of, we have a big senior population in town. I think it's about 30% last time I knew. And when one person's all by themselves in a big house, they look to go maybe to like some senior housing, and I think that's important because they'll meet people from, if people are moving over into that area, sort of like they do down on oh, what's the street in Woodbridge down there by the car dealership, where oh, I can't think of the Lucy Street there.
Yeah.
And they get to see people, they get to, people their age or whatever it is, they've been in town. So I think that's a good thing with the senior housing. I mean, there's a lot of ideas there that, we sort of, I think that you have to go sort of go through it all and spend a little time on it. And I'm glad they're doing that. I think that's a positive thing. And I'm glad they're keeping us up of what's going on. I think that's important. So that's good. That was what I look at the plan so far. Can you did you email us all this? Yeah, okay.
I did just email that, but I'm also sending a link to the Woodbridge Country Club Master Plan site, where there is a link to the to a second survey.
Okay.
It's called the CCW Open House Community Survey.
Yeah.
If you or if you want to share this with people who live in town, if you want to respond to this, I think that would be just, like my individual response and your individual response. But I
Yeah.
think that at this point it is useful, and also to have people with an ag lens on it would be
Mhm.
good. But also I think the points you bring up, Chris, are really important. Yeah, about all of the seniors here, and the housing that can keep them in the community, but that's appropriate for where they're at and what they want to keep up and everything like that.
Yeah, it's hard
Um,
because once you sell today, the price of housing is so outrageous, you can't come back. It's very difficult. And I'm seeing that happen to people that moved south and now all of a sudden they're having grandchildren and stuff and they want to come back up, but there's no cheap way to come back here and live. So, they commute, but you get so old, you only can commute so much. It's hard. Believe me, I'm getting older. I'm not that old, but I see it with family. I see it with friends and that nature. So I'm going to pass that out a little and just that helps give them some feedback of some of the seniors and stuff And it's amazing how many of these seniors, you know, they're very well educated. They know how to use the computer very well. And they do get their points across sometimes. They're pretty adamant sometimes. They're very adamant, matter of fact. So thank you for doing that. Appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, the link should be there
Okay,
in your emails.
okay. Thank you. You guys want to move forward and look at the minutes, or we're good? Okay. So let's move back for the approval of the March meeting minutes. And does anybody have any comments or questions on any of that?
They all look good it all looks good to me. I mean, once again, there's a bunch of spelling errors, but I think let's just let that go.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way the way this
Yeah, it's the way the
picks it
machine
up.
does
I mean, you know, you might have to, like, if I say Mary Mountain, I'm gonna say, okay, it's with an ERRY instead of
Right.
ARY, you know, or
Yeah, we've got Mary Mountain, we've got Wheat Charcuterie, we've got names spelled wrong, but I don't think it matters.
yeah, I think those are minor technicalities. So other than that, I think that's good. I think I look forward to Robin. You send out those the sheets, well, sign up sheets. That would be good.
Yeah.
And then I'll reply back to you. I'm better with a phone or text than I am with an email. I'll tell you that. I'm a lot better.
Okay, no worries.
Okay. Is there any other new business anybody wants to bring up or talk about? No? We're good?
Just to confirm, this is our last meeting, is that right?
Yes.
Until, are we
November.
regularly scheduled again November? Okay,
Right.
great. Okay, that's
And
why
then-
you brought that up. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Do
Yeah.
we need to make a motion to approve those meeting minutes?
Yes. Yes. So
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it for you. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. So we're good with that. Yeah, if we get those sent out, Robin, and we'll get the sign up sheets. And then we all just, once we get it all signed up, we'll just meet on the 26th. And then our next meeting will be in November, the second, I don't have the date here. Wait, let me look at it. It'll be the 11th of November. So that'll be our next meeting. Okay? And if we need to meet anytime in between, or if anybody has something, we can always schedule a meeting and Allison can post it for us and we can have a meeting if we need to have one. Do I have a motion for adjournment? I'll make a motion to adjourn. Robin, you want to
I'll
second it?
second. Mhm.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. Sorry about the confusion with me with this computer. I'm not a real good at this, but I'm learning.
We've all been there.
Okay. Thank you. And I'll see you guys in April. Okay? The 26th. Thank you. Good night.
All
night,
right, bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Good night.
Thanks.